we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the 2 Point Conversation, your home for football talk, 5 days a week, every week, right here on the network. My name is Matt Johnson, one of your hosts, and alongside me every single Friday for NFL history, my man Andrew Lenz. Andrew, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing great today. This is a great day.
No,
I gotta admit to that.
It most certainly is. And for the listeners at home, the reason why it is so great is because we're joined by a very special guest. All right, this guy, he likes making touchdowns. Let's just say that he likes making touchdowns. In fact, his nickname is the Touchdown Maker. So everybody, please welcome to the show, Stephen Baker, the Touchdown Maker. Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm doing good, man, and thank you. It's always good to get out again and do stuff like this. This pandemic has had us on lockdown, man, so I'm enjoying this. Thank you.
No, of course. Our absolute pleasure. I know Andrew speaks very highly of you. I'm still like a relatively newer fan, and he's educated me on, you, and he's talked about how much he loved, watching you grow up and seeing you in Tecmo Bowl and all this stuff. So it's really, really cool to be able to speak to you today.
No, thank you, man. And, it's shows my age when someone knows I was in Tecmo Bowl, which is still one of the highlights of my whole career, man. When kids come up to me and say, man, we still play Tecmo every Wednesday night. Could you sign my box for me? And they said that I was a beast on there next to Bo Jackson and Lawrence Taylor. So in 100%, great company.
100%.
I gotta actually say, my son's pretty much only win ever against me in Tecmo Super Bowl is with the Giants. He always takes the Giants. And if you do not guard Stephen Baker on the flea flicker, your game is done. Your game is done.
Yeah, I got to say, that was the one time they did me right, man. Madden wasn't too kind. They gave me a lot of quickness. But I got to say, man, on Tecmo Bowl, I was like the man. So I love it. I still have it, too.
Okay. I love the older ones. Love the older games. But as we do with every new guest, of course, I wanted to ask you a couple fan questions. Just get to know you, the not so much the player, but the fan behind the player, if you will. Mm-hmm. So, growing up, who was your favorite football team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh man!
I was born in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
So
little
Roger Staubach.
Yeah.
I know Roger Staubach. Drew Pearson, Tony Dorsett, Hollywood Henderson, Ed Too Tall Jones, all of those guys were my guys, man. And I still rooted for them until the day I got drafted. Then I had to let them go because now I'm diehard Giants. But I still like those guys up to that point. Anything after that, I can't stand the Cowgirls.
I love it. So, quick sidebar from that. What was it like for you to play in Dallas? Against them, was it pretty surreal?
Yes, especially the first time playing in Irving Stadium, man, in Dallas. And it was like a dream come true because I'd always watched all those highlights of all those Super Bowls and stuff. And even though I wasn't a Dallas Cowboy, but I was in that stadium, and I still remember my very first touchdown that I got in that stadium, and it was surreal. And then when they came here, I got two against Everson Walls, which nice. He says was blown coverages, but you know what? I got two on them. He was in the frame.
He can't. Yeah, he was in the frame.
He was in the frame.
He can't take that away from you. That's awesome.
No.
What is so as a fan? What is your earliest football memory? So watching it on TV, going to see a game. What was your earliest memory in that regard?
I gotta say, growing up in San Antonio, man, I remember just watching the Cowboys. They were always on TV, for one. And, they would be playing the Dolphins one week, then they would be playing Broncos. And I used to watch them all the time, but I didn't have anybody to play ball with, so I used to catch it myself.
Oh, wow.
I'd hike it through my leg, catch it, throw it, and go catch the ball. And then when I finally got a chance to play football with the kids, I didn't know what to do. You guys, Andrew may remember the electric football with the vibrating table?
Yes, and you just turned it on and they went all over the place.
Remember this guy?
Yes.
Standing like that? Well, when they let me play football for the first time, I got up on the line and I just did this. and the kid ran right around me
Oh,
and
wow.
hit the running back and busted his nose wide open.
Oh, no.
And I guess they thought I was being funny, so they put me back there. And I saw what happened to him, and I said, man, I'm run so fast. And I remember running the toss sweep, and I never forget that feeling, how great it felt. They couldn't catch me. And honestly, I've been running.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
As a fan, like growing up, no, you're good. Maybe a favorite memory that like watching maybe Dallas or something. Favorite memory of being a fan.
Oh boy. Oh man, it's not a good memory though. When the Cowboys lost to the freaking Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
Oh,
When
no.
not Harvey, Randy tried onside with a cast on his wrist, and my man dropped the touchdown in the end zone, Jackie Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Against the Steelers. I mean, I just know that he's got to be the sickest man in America. Dropped a touchdown in the Super Bowl, man. And this picture behind me, I'm probably going a little ahead here, but
good.
Always ask me what was I thinking, and I'm telling you, after I scored a touchdown, I swear I said, how did Jackie Smith miss that ball? You know what I mean? Because this is like the moment of your life. You just got to make the catch. You can't have a negative in your mind. So that is honestly one of my bad memories. But fondest memory was probably when Tony Dorsett went 100 yards against the Minnesota Vikings, 99 yards. I remember I was cheering in, and because I was a fan in college at the time.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very good.
And I wanted to be Drew Pearson when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
I love number 88.
I gotcha. And little last fan question for this. Well, I guess maybe a player that you modeled your own game after eventually.
No, that's a good question. I love Drew Pearson, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't a little guy. I loved watching guys and Lynn Swann wasn't a little guy, but what Lynn Swann did the most was every pass down for. And he suffered a lot of concussions as a result. But my game, if you look at any of my catch, even that touchdown right, I always left my feet. Coaches always said, don't leave your feet, but it would just be a habit. And going across the middle, I don't care. If a DB line right there to take me out, I would jump anyway. And my gymnastics background saved me because I knew how to tumble. I used to do round-off back handsprings, full Arabians.
That's what you did in high school, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Exactly. I did gymnastics in high school. And I used to do what we call street tumbling, where we go against other kids in the street and say, hey, I can do this, you do that, whatever. So I would say I patterned myself after Lynn Swann, man, because he used to always just jump up over people and take the ball away. And me being 5'8", the 6'2" DBs never expected that. And I had outstanding jumping ability because I was a high jumper as well. If I got the jump before you, I'm going to get the ball at the apex before you. I don't care how tall you are.
I love the spirit. Very good, man. All right. Andrew, you want to kick us off for the main line of questioning? I know you got some stuff lined up for us.
Yeah, I do. I mean, this is like I said, this is a very surreal moment for me. And actually, by talking to you, I've met you and Nate Odoms.
Oh, no way. How's Nate doing, man?
Oh, well, I met him when I was a kid. Me and Matt are both from Western New York, so we're around the Buffalo area.
Oh, okay.
Bills did charity basketball games, and Nate Odoms played in the basketball games. And when I was a kid, he threw me one of the Bills wristbands.
No way.
I could say I met Nate Odoms, and I met the man that burnt Nate Odoms for a touchdown.
I know. You know what? He catches a bad rap for that, but Nate was an outstanding defensive back, man. It's just, the timing was just perfect on that play, and it's, it
happens to the best of them.
I see he's on. Yeah, I see him on Facebook, and I'm afraid to friend him and just because I don't know how he's going to react. But to me, it's all respect, man, because we went against each other twice that year, and he's an outstanding defensive back. I don't take nothing. He was good. It's just I just got the break that day. You know what I mean? We always said if we played them 10 times, we only win one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what I mean?
They were a
That's
great
how
team.
good they were.
A great team. Yeah,
They were.
Without a doubt.
Because this is like my Super Bowl. I know I've maybe read my comments on Facebook. This is like this is the first Super Bowl that I actually remember watching and getting into as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was a diehard Bills fan, so that might be one of the reasons. And so, I mean, this is, like I said, very surreal moment to be able to talk to somebody from the Super Bowl. And I've mentioned this many times. This is like my favorite Super Bowl. This is probably the Super Bowl that made me into a fan that I am and everything else. So, I mean, once again, I would like to say thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, you're very welcome, man.
My first question is, though, because I also remember the whole 1990 season, because like I stated, unfortunately, I come from a family of Bills fans, is I remember week 15, Phil Sims goes down with the foot injury.
Yep.
Were you guys worried at that point before going on this run?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because Jeff Hostetler was our backup, and when we practiced, we only carried, I think, 6 receivers. So when we had to be the dummy offense, say if we're playing the Bills and I had to be Andre Reed or whatever, Parcells demanded that we give our first string defense a great look. So we couldn't half-ass run our routes and stuff. We had to play it like real. And what that did for us, Hostetler and I weren't starters at the beginning of the season. I started the 3rd game and never relinquished it due to injuries.
Right.
And Hostetler came in later. But during those practices, we used to always say, you know, we're going to work them hard. And he would say to me, Bake, let's get them yelled at today. Meaning that, you know, we're going all out against these guys, man, and making the plays, coming back, high-fiving. And ultimately, when he took over the starting job, it was like not a break at all because we'd already been working full speed already. The timing was already there. If anything, he was a lot more mobile than Phil Simms, and he would throw a ball and let you make a play for him. So we weren't worried at all. It was just the outside media and people that were worried because, you know, they didn't really know how we practiced. And, you know, that philosophy I always tell kids when they're backups. I say, guys, go in there and work your butt off because you never know when your time's going to come. You know, you don't want the coaches to be like, see, that's why we had you on second string. But
right.
We worked our tails off.
No, that's good. Because I remember, I mean, obviously I wasn't even alive yet at that point. Not to make you feel bad or anything, but I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries and stuff, and you know, I know Hostetler was itching for that starting job too. The man was hungry, you know, going for a while, and I think he eventually cashed in on it and went elsewhere. But yeah, such a natural fit, and you know that people were shocked. But obviously, you know, you worked with the man, you know, religiously, so it just seemed everything seemed to work smoothly.
Yeah, it wasn't an issue with us, man. Mark Ingram and I, and you know, Stacey Robinson. The timing was already there. If anything, you know, like I said, we welcomed it because of his scrambling ability. And once he break outside the pocket, it becomes street ball. And man, let me tell you, street ball, that's when it's fun. You know, short receivers go deep, deep receivers come back and just get open. That's when football is fun, man.
No, 100%, 100%. Now, so, well, the Super Bowl that year, you had actually been drafted. Yeah. It was the year after the Giants' previous win, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because they won in '86.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, so this is your first one. What's your feeling? I mean, the build up. There was a long, hard road to it. You guys went through some stud teams, including Chicago, who was still pretty tough at that time, of course, and then San Francisco. Yeah. What was that journey like to the Super Bowl?
Well, even just to make the team in '87, because they just won the Super Bowl, and if you know Bill Parcells, his personality was straightforward and to the point. And I recall one time when we weren't having a great practice, we were practicing against the Patriots, and then we're going to play them the following Saturday. We weren't having a good practice, and he called all the rookies over and said, and actually this was our first preseason game we're about to play, but he put us all over in the middle of practice and embarrassed us in front of all the fans out there and said, get over here, take a look over there. So we all look over. He's like, I won the Super Bowl with them. I don't need any of you sons of bees. We're like, whoa. You know, it's like as a kid coming into a professional football team, you're like, you know what? He's right. They won the ultimate prize Super Bowl. They don't need us. So he always had us on edge on making the team. And I was not comfortable, even after you walk through the threshold of the locker room and make the team, he still had you on the edge and said, don't get too happy now because I can still send your ass home. And that was his whole thing, having you on edge.
Yeah, because I think me and Andrew talked about it. He used to bust Lawrence Taylor's balls a bunch of times. Something about a plane ticket or something like that.
The Irv Pankey story.
Oh, really? I don't know about that one.
I guess Peter King told a story that they were playing the Rams, and the Rams had an offensive guard named Irv Pankey.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think. Okay, and I guess Lawrence was, or LT, couldn't, was getting manhandled by him.
Okay.
So Parcells, I guess, left a plane ticket on LT's locker, and LT went in and went to Parcells and was like, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh, that's a plane ticket. You're gonna fly down to New Orleans and switch your jersey with Pat Swilling and send him back here since you're both number 56, because Pat Swilling can take Irv Pankey and you can."
That sound accurate? Did it sound like something you would
do? That was him, man. He was like a drill sergeant, man. Like, I was watching this thing about Full Metal Jacket. They were talking about the real life drill sergeants. They don't know where they come up with these lines, because he even had a couple for me, man, catching punts. I dropped like 2 or 3 in practice, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing? You want to, what? You want window or aisle?" And I'm like, "Sir," he's like, "What do you want, window or aisle? Because you're going to be on the first plane smoking out of here. So window or aisle."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I
actually no stutter, and just rolled off the tongue, huh?
Yeah, man. It's like, I don't know where we get this stuff from.
Bill Parcells is like a personal hero of mine. I had to do a management course, and they said, name, your biggest hero. And I was like, Bill Parcells. And they were like, "Why Bill Parcells?" I'm like, there's just something about him that every time I watch a documentary or anything on him, he just always seems like he's just going to get the most out of people. And he is going to bust their balls, but he seems like he cares 100% about everybody that he deals with.
Absolutely, man. And that's what I really respect about him, because he even tells you, if you got a problem with me while you're not playing, my door is always open. He didn't want you to call him coach. Call me Bill. Right. And he would tell you straight up. It may not be what you want to hear, but he would tell you why you're not starting or what you need to do to improve. And I really think the ball busting part of it was just to see what type of man you are and if you can handle pressure. You know what I mean? Because I tell you, he rode me all the time, threatening to send me back to California and, calling the stadium there. This is not Fresno State. It's 70,000 people, not 30,000. And say something to hurt your feelings. Like, I sure hope you didn't pay for that house yet, because you ain't going to be here long enough to pay it off.
Sweet
and
Jesus.
I mean, and you don't know, he's not playing when he say this stuff. And it would just make me mad. And I'd be like, I'll show his fat ass. Pardon my language.
No, you're
getting fired up again. But in the end, it was all good, man. I love Parcells. His birthday's coming up. I call him on his birthday every year. Otis Anderson and I are always together, but unfortunately, maybe this year we won't be. We usually at a golf outing in August on his birthday, man, and we always call him up.
Damn,
but
COVID.
Great, man.
No, that's good to hear. But yeah, I mean, let's get into that road a little bit, that postseason road, because like I said, I mean, going through Chicago, who I think his defense was still pretty tough at that. It was pretty tough at that point, of course, and then San Francisco was almost like a. They're going through this. They're kind of transitioning from the Joe Montana to the Steve Young era at this point. What was it? I mean, what was it like for you guys, kind of surpassing both those great teams?
Well, they beat us earlier in the season, and it was I'd never forget after that game. Parcells did tell us. He said, "Don't be surprised we don't see those guys again." And sure enough, that's all we needed. And when we got that second chance at him, man, you probably seen that highlight when. Carl Banks says we're back at him and LT because we wanted that game so bad. Don't get me wrong, we didn't look past Chicago,
of course,
but when we knew that game was in hand, we knew where we were going, and what was at stake. Them trying to three-peat, and I won't say it wasn't the prettiest game to watch, but arguably that was probably my favorite game as a team. Because everybody contributed in that game. I mean, big. If you watch that game, and I'm not trying to blow my own horn, but the last drive we got 3 catch when first of all, Eric Howard knocking the ball out. Then LT recovers it, okay? And then we do 3 pass plays, one to Mark Ingram, one to Bavaro, and then I caught the last one. Then Otis lined it up, and then, oh, my God, my kicker. Barr kicks the ball, and Barr told me just a couple weeks ago, he said that LT told him before that kick, because I was like, man, what did he tell you over there? He said he told me, you're going to have all the time you need. Basically saying, like, dude, don't even worry about it. This sucker's not getting in. Just make the kick. And from a team effort, though, you know, we didn't score a single touchdown, but look at all those big plays in that game. Gary Reasons, the fake punt, being alert, seeing that it was only 10 men on the field. Hostetler going down and then getting back up from that injury. They brought in Kavanaugh, and Kavanaugh almost threw the game away, boy. And Parcells looked over there. He said, Ronnie Barnes, can he go or not? Because Kavanaugh, can you imagine coming into a championship game cold? They shouldn't have called a pass play for him, but I believe it was probably 3rd down and they had to do it. But he almost threw an interception. If Ronnie Lott wasn't going for the kill shot, he would have picked that ball off and went for a touchdown.
Right.
The game has a different narrative.
No, it was a good chess match. I've watched highlights and stuff, of course. It was a chess match. Sometimes sometimes not the prettiest games are there. There's a fun little element to it you can always find. But of course, yeah. So NFC champions, you guys are going, and it's was this one down in Tampa? Was Super Bowl 25 in?
Yes.
It was.
Yes,
okay.
where they had already had the billboards up for the 49ers and everything.
Really?
They weren't expecting us. I recall that when we got there, the hotel wasn't even expecting us, and Parcells had to pull some strings and curse out some people and stuff. They had billboards with Montana on one side throwing the ball to Jerry Rice. It was horrible, man. But you know, that's what they do. They make up T-shirts beforehand and all that stuff.
Right.
But Vegas was not prepared for us to be there.
It's got to be an even more satisfying feeling.
Yeah, it really was. We only had a week to practice too, and I love it because, you know, you can't wait to play the game.
Right. All right. So that week leading up, and you said you guys had played the Bills previously in that season?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's when Phil Simms went down, and it was a rainy game, and we almost had them then. And, you know, I remember we had a 4th down, and we didn't convert it to get in field goal range, or we either needed a touchdown. I can't remember. But, you know, I didn't think we would see them in the Super Bowl. Well, I mean, they had a fantastic year, but I never thought we'd see them again. So that whole season to me was all about revenge too.
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah, just getting everybody.
Who were you expecting in the Super Bowl? Because I remember, I know Bo Jackson, I think, was having a monster year that year.
Yeah, the Raiders, right? They played the Raiders. I don't know, who did they play before then?
Don't remind me. That was the Dolphins.
Yeah,
that's my team.
Who was ever the Super Bowl champion before is usually who you think.
The Broncos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't know why I didn't think we were going to see Buffalo again.
Right.
But look at them. They went 4 years in a row after that. 3 years after that.
Crazy.
It's
crazy in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
Was the pageantry of the Super Bowl, was it at any point overwhelming for you? All the theatrics, and of course Whitney Houston's wonderful and, you know, rendition, bringing everybody to the game. Was it overwhelming at any point?
Yeah, I gotta say, you know, just when you're playing in a game of that magnitude, and you know, you gotta figure it's your first time there, it is like being in a bad dream. You feel like you can't run as fast as you can. I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Like the exit keeps getting farther away, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to have a play, and I'm sure every player can probably tell you a play that wakes you up. Maybe it's on kickoff when you're running down, you get smacked in the mouth and you wake up. And mine actually happened on my first catch, which was a tip ball from it went off Howard Cross's hands. I believe it was intended for me, but Howard got in the way and tipped it, and it was going all types of ways. And I just snatched it out of the air and turned it up, and Odom's grabbed me around the waist, else I would have been gone. And I swear, right after that, I was awake, man. My legs felt light, and, you know, and oddly enough, I was being matched up against my college teammate, James Williams. He was a defensive back. Yeah, he was a wide receiver when he was at Fresno. And, you know, I had him on, you know, this in hindsight now, but I had a post corner route, man, I was wide open, but he threw it to Ingram and it was incomplete. But I had James beat on that play like a drum, man. But it was so cool to play against your high school or your college teammate in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah, Fresno State was proud that day.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we got next? Andrew, you had a couple things about the game?
Yeah, well, I know about the defensive game plan because this has been like drilled into every documentary I've ever watched about, Thurman Thomas, Belichick walking into the defensive meeting saying, if Thurman Thomas gets 125 yards this game, we win.
Right.
Was the offensive game plan pretty much the same thing? We're gonna pound it with OJ, run it with Maggot, and just keep it going.
Absolutely. I always make mention of that. You try to tell somebody like Odell Beckham or Julio Jones that they're going to the coaches at the night before the Super Bowl say, I want to have the longest time of possession in Super Bowl history, how they would react, because these kids today all about touches and all that crap and nonsense. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning and getting one of these.
That's right.
So when he told us that, Mark Ingram and I did not bat an inch, man. We said we just going to have the lowest catch total in Super Bowl history of starting wide receivers. Ingram had about 38 catches that year. I think I had 37 or 36. And heck, we still got this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Right?
That is beautiful.
So thank you. So we did our jobs, and we knew, like, all year long, when they call our number, just be ready. And look what happened. We pound them with OJ and then throw in Maggot to throw off the timing. And man, it worked well. I have no complaints whatsoever.
I got to say, one of my favorite things about the Super Bowl, especially with Otis Anderson, is when on one of his long runs where he just throws like an uppercut right at one of the Bills players. I love that to this day.
Yeah, at Kelso. And, I think that just exemplified that our goal, power, man. Parcells always said run with power. And the running backs always told us receivers, y'all just get in their way. We'll make the decision which way to go.
Right.
And I'm telling you, there's no better feeling when you're watching films as a team and the running back see you doing your job out there and you blocking. And because we really took pride in blocking. Tom Coughlin, as you well know, didn't leave any stone unturned. Oh. He was a great coach, and we were always in position to make blocks for these guys because we had some bad running backs. Rodney Hampton, before he got hurt, was incredible, as you well know.
Yeah.
But my boy Otis didn't do bad filling in because think about it. He's on his last leg, and he showed the world what he was all about. And, of course, Maggot is Maggot. So we had fun, man.
Yeah, because Otis Anderson in this Super Bowl, if I've watched his earlier stuff with the Cardinals, he is like a completely different runner.
Oh, my God, right? I always tell people, go to YouTube and look at them videos, man. He was big as heck and could run like a missile.
It was almost like Earl Campbell.
Yes, exactly.
He had some moves, too.
Yeah. You didn't want to get in front of him, man. I said, I don't know how a defensive back like Darrell Green could even think about coming up and trying to hit him. And it's so funny, too, to go back to the championship game. There was a play in the first half where Ronnie Lott comes up where Otis ran like a dive play. I mean, Ronnie Lott came up there and they butted heads. And then late in the game, Coach Earhart pointed it out late in the fourth quarter. Ronnie Lott walked up into that hole and saw Otis coming and falling, and he chopped his feet. He didn't want no more parts of it, man. So that was the strength of that running game.
To get into the game, the first quarter was good. Like I wrote down a couple of plays, but there's like some significant ones that I wanted to go over with you. The first one was probably the most famous one, if you ask, other than I would say the end of the game. If you ask anybody in Buffalo, is Jeff Hostetler in the end zone when Bruce had him. how did he hold on to that ball? And I know you were probably running a route, so you weren't sure what was going on, but that was like one of the biggest plays, I would say, where the Bills could have kind of had that game. But Hostetler, and I've seen Bruce Smith in person, and he is a mountain of a man.
So here's the irony about that play. It is the same play that we did the last 3 plays of the championship game when I told you I caught the last pass. It's called Baker right. Call it squirrel right, meaning he's going to roll out to the right. I am the only receiver going out on the backside. He's going to roll out to me. I'm doing an 18-yard stutter go comeback, and that's what I did in the championship game. And we called a squirrel go, stutter, comeback, go. So I did, and they game plan. They know what I'm doing. So he saw me do the stutter, and I act like I was going to go. And then I stop and win again. And I'm looking in the midnight sky looking for the dang ball, man, because I'm wide open. And come to find out, he trips over Otis Anderson's big 14-inch shoe because Jumbo Elliott didn't get to his position or something, and he had to go cover for Jumbo. And you're right, man. I don't know how Hostetler, because I saw the highlight, how that ball did not come out of his hand. It would have been a different ball game for sure.
Toughness, man. That's that blue-collar toughness of Hostetler.
Yeah, I mean, he I don't know how he held on to that ball, but thank God he did, because I didn't know what happened until I saw the highlights, because I'm like looking in the air for the ball still.
The other question I had was, I watched the whole entire game. This is probably the 3rd time I watched it. I watched it originally and then watched it a couple of times. And you had another, I would say, target in the end zone right before you made your catch.
Yes.
And that was really off. What happened on that one? Was it just?
Yeah, so it was a seam route. I was in the slot, and I loved that the announcer, oh, God, who was it? Oh, God.
There was Deerdorf, Michaels, and Gifford were in there.
Yeah, Gifford. I love what he said, because at the end, because most people, when they see it from that angle, you may think I dropped the ball, but he actually says that ball was severely underthrown. And when I say severely, it was 3 yards and it hit the dirt before it got to me, because I was wide open. And I actually thought that was it. I was like, I'm not going to get my shot now to, score a touchdown. When you get down there, I was known as a touchdown maker. I'm not going to lie. In junior college, I hit 32 touchdowns. And whenever we got in the red area, my eyes would just light up. So when they called that play, I'm the primary on that. And I hit single coverage with Kelsey, beat him like a drum, got inside, and the ball is underthrown. So go back to the huddle. And to my surprise, they call a play that I've scored on against the Bears in the Super Bowl or in the playoff game, same post corner route. And I'm the primary again. And I'm like, wow, the brain trust upstairs, they believing in me. So I always tell people, I said, I'm going to run the best route I've ever ran in my life right here, right now. And, fast forward to now, and Hostetler could have thrown it to Mark Ingram, because if you watch the highlight when they show it in slow motion, Ingram guy actually falls, and Ingram is wide open. But Haas said he only came back to me because he felt bad about the initial throw.
Oh, what a guy.
Awesome.
Funny how stuff works out, right?
Yeah. And
of course,
it was a sweet catch, too. I mean, just great throw, right on the money. And
thank you, man.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Phil Simms, I saw him 3 years ago at a card show. He's like, Bakes, I wouldn't have thrown you that ball. Now I said, you know what? I said, I'm glad you wasn't quarterbacking then. Because he definitely would have thrown it to Ingram, because it probably was the right read. But I did have position on Odoms on that play, and I got open. So I was just thankful that Haas threw it. And, just to tell your listeners, people always ask, what was I thinking? I always tell people I was thinking that I'm going to run the best post corner route I've ever ran in my life right here, right now, because I've run this route 1,001 times, but this is going to be textbook perfect, meaning everything, like with the fake to the outside before I go in, the look back with the hands out like this so Haas can fake it like that, and then break out of the break. And then once I came out of the break, if the ball's not in the air, because it wasn't a deep pass, that ball has to be in the air before I get out the break. And sure enough, when I came out the break, I didn't see it leave his hands. I had to just go get it. and didn't think about it. Try to be textbook, put the arms together. I just leaped up, cradled it like a baby, 2 feet, dragged the other. Bam.
Yeah, it was clean. It was real clean.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So let's see. I know, well, I guess we can kind of get into, the final moments, I guess, of the game. Bill's kind of starting to rally a little bit, going into that, the world famous Scott Norwood missed field goal. What are you guys' emotions? You're leading, here now until the final moments of the game, and they're starting to rally a little bit. What's going on through your mind, your mind, maybe your teammates' mind? I'm sure a little bit of nervousness, of course, but
no doubt. And my whole thought process on it was they figured it out finally. And they figured out we got to run the ball.
Right.
If they would have ran the ball and wouldn't have, I know you got to dance with the girl that brought you there, which was their passing game. But if they would have ran the ball like that early in the third quarter, I don't think I'd have this ring on today. So when they started running the ball and then Thurman started just eating up those yards like that and just marching down the field, and I'm like, Jesus, man, we're giving up too much. We're only rushing 2 people. Then somehow we had a break in the play. I remember Eric Howard and Linhart taking off their helmets, and they just gasped, man. And so when they got in field goal range with little time on the clock, I'm like, man, my touchdown is going to mean nothing if we don't win this game, and I looked at the distance. I said, this is the biggest game of his career. He's going to make this kick. Why would, your team is counting on you. So when they lined up, I turned my back to the crowd. I couldn't watch it. And I can still hear it when he hit it, his foot, because there's a moment of silence where that whole stadium was just quiet as a church mouse for a tenth of a second. And then all of a sudden, I looked out the corner of my eye and saw one of my guys had jumped up, and they were like high as my shoulder pad. And I said, I know he didn't jump that high because we lost. And I didn't see the replay until I got home, but that's when I knew we won the game.
Oof. Crazy.
But it was nerve-wracking, man. I can't even tell you. It's like, think about it. You work all your life to play in the Super Bowl, and you get lucky enough to score a touchdown. Now you got to do is win it, and it comes down to this, with something you have no control over.
It's terrifying. It happens to so many people.
Yeah, it really was.
There's so many greats who've never even seen the Super Bowl, and so many who went once, failed, and couldn't go back. So for you guys to be able to capitalize as a team, and I'm going to say catch a break with his missed field goal. Huge. And it actually, again, we talked about a little bit about the media banter before, but, in the eyes of many, a huge upset. But for you guys stuck to your game plan, played great team football, and you pulled it out in the end. Just excellent strategy all the way, kind of just playing to, picking apart their weaknesses. You guys, wonderful coaches in Parcells and Belichick and so many others. Everything just worked. And you guys put out the perfect game plan for them.
No, thank you. It was a no-nonsense game plan, nothing flashy. And, it was, like I said, it was an honor to play in a game like that. It wasn't flashy, but everybody did their part again as usual. And it was a great feeling to be able to this day, still see my boys, and we got this in common, and we did something. We shocked the world that year. So it was awesome, man.
Phenomenal.
That is.
Sorry, Andrew.
No, I'm not a Bills fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. I come from a family of Bills fans. So this Super Bowl was my father was a season ticket holder.
Okay.
Of the Bills, and this is the year he did go to every single Bills game. He only missed one against the Raiders because it was Monday night because he had to go to work the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And he even went to the Super Bowl. So I'm like, wow. And everybody, we live in Western New York, so everybody's telling me I think I'm 7 or 8 years old at this time. So everybody's telling me the Bills are going to win. The Bills are going to win. The Bills are going to win. So I'm sitting there, and I went to a Super Bowl party, and I'm in the kids' room. The adults were, in the party room, and I'm in the kids' room, and we're watching the game. And, throughout everything, I'm watching all this stuff, and I'm like, don't worry, the Bills are going to win because that's what my parents told me and all these
Right.
adults.
They lied to you.
So yes, this game was like an eye opener to me at 7 or 8 years old, saying, it really is any given Sunday. You need to work as a team, and adults will lie, even though they don't know the future. They will lie to you. So that's why
that's cool.
I always tell my son, he's a diehard Giants fan.
Okay.
And I tell my son all the time, even when the game is done, I'm like, you gotta wait. You gotta just wait. It's not gonna be over until that clock hits. 0. That's when you can say, oh man, we lost. But until that point, you gotta keep on plugging away, figure out some way to win, adjust and everything else. But this was like the eye-opening game. My other 2 Super Bowls were the last 2, the 49ers and the Bengals, and the Broncos and the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this one is like the Super Bowl that holds the biggest place in my heart. And to be talking to you, and I played with you video games, and somebody that played in the Super Bowl is like amazing to me. Like I was telling Matt, I feel like a 78-year-old kid again, because it's like bringing back all those memories.
No, thank you.
But that's what this game means to me. And when I was a new guest on the show, this was one that I listed as, a moment that I can, like, pretty much my favorite game of all time.
You can talk about knowing
wow,
it. Yeah.
thank you.
So, no, without a doubt, Andrew's done a great job on the show thus far. But I wanted to, I guess, the next year, just a little bit. We just wanted a little inkling into next year, I guess, because Parcells is gone. Parcells leaves. I don't exactly remember myself what happened or never heard about it, but was it a surprise to you guys in that off season?
Yeah, because we'd heard inklings that he was going to leave, and this was prior to the Super Bowl. And I never forget, in the locker room, he said to us, guys, you think I'm going to leave this? And everybody cheered and everything. And then, he left, and then Ray took over, and Ray was just he was too trusting of a coach. You know what I mean? And we had always had a saying, you can't let the inmates run the asylum.
Right.
and he pretty much said, you guys know what to do, because basically it was 86 and 90 guys in there that won the 2 Super Bowls. You guys know what it takes to win and all that. And I think that was his downfall, when you had players arguing with him and, calling plays on the sideline, and then he like looking at them like, you think we can do that? Yeah, let's go with it. That never happened with Parcells. You know what I mean? And not to jump off topic, but that's what I knew what was going to happen in Cleveland, man, with Beckham and Baker and them trying to tell that new coach all this new stuff. That doesn't work. You got to have somebody that's an authoritative figure, and that's it. Get out my face. You don't need all that. And I think that was Ray Handley's biggest downfall. And then, we had a horrible 2 years after that, and it was not fun times, let me tell you. Because we really thought we were going back to the Super Bowl again. At least I did. We were ready, man. I mean, I think our first game was against the Monday night, the 49ers, and we beat them. And I'm like, we're back, And then all of a sudden, the floodgates opened up. I think we only won 8 or 9 games or something like that. It was horrible.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah. There was a big quarterback controversy.
Oh, yeah.
Too. I mean, because everybody talks about Nick Foles. Look at Nick Foles. And like you said, we do an NFL history episode every Friday. And my thing is, you can see a player now, but there's always been a player that did it before. And in my mind, Jeff Hostetler is Nick Foles before Nick Foles. Mm-hmm. Hostetler, I would say, I like Hostetler better than Nick Foles. But I think when Nick Foles won that Super Bowl, everybody forgot about what Hostetler did. And that was one of the things that, everybody crowns Nick Foles as one of the great backups. But Hostetler ran into this situation, and you guys were on a roll winning, and he ran into this, and he went out, and he won a Super Bowl too. So, I mean, I think a lot of people got to give Hostetler not credit, but, look at him as say, this guy was Nick Foles before the Colts. And
I said the same thing too when I saw what Nick Foles did with the Eagles, man. I was like, how is that going to happen that when they come back the next year, you're going to have a quarterback that was a Super Bowl MVP sitting on the bench?
Right.
And that was just like so weird. And, and I love that a lot of news publication networks, they're actually rehashing Jeff Hostetler's career, which rehashed some of my great passes and catches I got from him. So we were back in the fray again. It was really kind of cool to see. But
you do have – oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say you do have a tribute video on YouTube.
Yeah, I had a friend make that for us, man.
Okay.
And he made one for just about every player on the 90 team, believe it or not.
Oh.
And I tell you, I was one of his favorites. His name is Jim Ehrlich. He's on my Facebook page. But his YouTube channel is awesome, man. He made a tribute video to just about everybody on the 86 and 90 team. A lot of work went into this. I think he said he needs about 5 more guys, and then he's complete. But I watch them all because it is just so cool to see, because we all did cool stuff.
You did. No, without a doubt. A lot to be proud of. And it's cool that people are recognizing that and still, talking about you guys to this day. It's always good to have that. But post-football career, I guess we kind of get into that. What are you up to nowadays? What's your reason for waking up every morning? What drives you every day?
Oh man, nothing the last 4 months.
Well, naturally, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wake up, I get on here, I play some Madden. I've taken it just out and thrown it against the wall twice and said I'm never playing this stupid ass game again. But some of this, it's amazing when you put in a lot of time in the game and you find out the little nuances that just drive you crazy, man. And when people start spamming these plays that are glitches, it just makes you so mad. I'm never playing this again. But then you always come back. And I was using the Chiefs, but now I'm using the Ravens and having so much fun with Lamar Jackson running on folks.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so I am prior to COVID pandemic, I would be playing golf now. The virtual, I would be doing football camps with the kids, the Giants youth football camps. And now we do those virtually. So I just put up my background like this and put my highlight tape in the background and I talk to the children and stuff. I would have been doing football stuff with the Giants. They would have had us up at the stadium now doing.
You're still around. You're still around them. Well, obviously not now, but you're
oh my God, yeah. 90% of my income, believe it or not, when football season starts, they keep us old farts busy, man.
Okay, and, you deserved it. So, you earned it. You earned it. You paved the road. You earned it.
No, thank you, man. I like I said, missing that a lot. And these are some of the camps I used to do. Talking to the kids and stuff. And this was last year, and now I'm not doing any of this stuff. So it's like. It's kind of a step back, but, we'll get through it. And
some great pictures.
But prior to that, thank you. Prior to that, I was I was a permanent substitute teacher and track coach for 17 years.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I'd say for the last 7 years, I've been doing what I enjoy doing, which is the football camps, speaking engagements, and Giant events and golf outings.
Oh, phenomenal! Well, life worth living, that's for sure.
Thank you, bro.
I'm glad to hear. I'm glad to hear about the Giants because I always look at the Giants as like one of the classiest organizations in the NFL. They still have ownership family that's owned them from the beginning. I mean, almost up there with the Steelers, where it always seems like they take care of everybody. Wellington Mara, I don't know, a lot of guys have talked highly about Wellington Mara and everything else. And it's just.
You hit the nail right on the head. It's family, first of all. And that's what you get when you come to the Giants. If you just keep your nose clean and do the right thing and enjoy what you're doing, which guys like myself, Howard Cross, Otis Anderson, Harry Carson, stick around here and they keep us busy, man. But you got to enjoy doing this stuff. And they have that motto, and it's so true. Once a Giant, always a Giant. And that's what I respect. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, man. The only reason I didn't go back home is because of what the Giants do for us. They keep us alive, and we couldn't stay alive if it wasn't for the Giant fan base.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I mean?
That
They are They are unbelievable. They still, you'd be surprised how, I mean, not you wouldn't be surprised, but they remember, they don't forget, you know, and they pass it down to their kids, and they're like, I've heard of you, the touchdown maker or whatever. And but thank God for, I would say, thank God for YouTube and the NFL Network.
No, without a doubt, because like I mean,
Right?
I don't know. We're not on the end, so we don't know what happens to a lot of players when they're, you know, when their time has come, and how involved they still are. So it's good to see that they are keeping you guys around, because you all deserve
well, put it this way, that the whole NFL is modeling what the Giants do.
Good.
As far as taking care of former players, because I mean, little things like this thing called fantasy football, where corporations rent out the stadium, and we play a football game with them underneath in the lights, and you know, and everybody can be happy and get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
And not to mention how much fun it is.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun too. That's the most important.
Exactly. I really enjoy it, man. I'll never get tired of signing autographs and going out and meeting people and talking football, bro.
Good. You're one of the good people. Then we're glad we get to talk. That's really our thing here. We want to talk to good people, whether they're fans, whether they're former players, coaches, whatever it may be. We want to talk to good people, and you have a really cool, just great life story too. So, we're very grateful for this opportunity. Almost done here, but wanted to give you a chance, of course, to promote anything you got going on, and do some video game streaming and this and that. Anything you want to promote. We'd love to share that with our listeners.
Oh, well, you know, I do a lot of streaming on Facebook from now. Then it's called TD Maker 85 Gaming.
Okay.
And if you go there, you can, you may get a game against me in Madden. And I do use the Chiefs. I'm telling you that now. The Chiefs are the Ravens, because I'm sorry, I cannot use a drop back quarterback standing in the pocket. I got to be able to make something happen, man. And as you guys well know, that's where the game's going.
Yeah.
But we're doing a big time stream. Oh my God, I don't know the exact date. But if you go to my Facebook page, Stephen Baker, STEPHENBAKER, I'm going to be posting. We're having a Madden tournament. We're raising money for. All proceeds are going to childhood brain cancer.
Oh, excellent.
Specifically DIPG, which is a horrible disease where kids get brain cancer and their life expectancy is 6 to 9 months. And I unfortunately experienced a young fan that I saw was in the prime of life. And then, sadly, 6 months later, she passed away. And this happens way too often. So this organization, all the proceeds are going right to the Brain Cancer Society, and we're going to be streaming games September. Oh my God, I'm gonna put it on my page, but it's in September 22nd. It's going to be a Madden tournament, and
please do. No, we'd like to make a donation. We would like to make a donation in that regard. So
I'll be sure to let you guys know once we're getting the flyers done now, and I'm gonna post it up on my Facebook page, and I'll reach out to Andrew and I'll get it to you. Maybe you can come on the stream and play me.
I got to do some training. But I'm getting ready for Madden. I'm getting ready for Madden 21. I know that's coming out in a couple weeks now. So.
Yeah, that's the thing too, man. I got to get ready for that too, because I done got used to this one, and now they switching it up.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. But Stephen, thank you so much for joining us today, man. I know we said it a bunch of times, but we can't say it enough. You are wonderful. Everything we had hoped for as a guest on the show, and just a wonderful dude. So thank you so much for your time.
No, man. God bless you guys. And thank you for breaking up a little of the boredom for me, because I usually just be sitting around working on my remote control helicopters and stuff. So I really appreciate it.
Of course. Andrew, anything you want to ask before we close up?
I just want to ask him one question. My son...
My nerd stuff in the background.
A great setup.
Yeah, thank you. This is what you can do when you're single. You think your wife's gonna let you put shit like stuff like this in the living room? I don't think so.
That's why I know. That's why I got an office space. I can hang up and put all my stuff up. So I know what you mean. It's my escape room.
Right. No, it's all good.
Go ahead,
Andrew. My son, like I mentioned, is a diehard Giants fan, and at the end of the month, we're actually moving to Texas, so we're moving pretty much into the heart of cowboy country.
Is that right?
Yeah. Do you got any words of encouragement that I could pass on to him?
Well, moving to Texas, or just how old is he?
He's 9. He just turned 9.
And does he play sports?
he did play football, but he's kind of not sure if he wants to get back into it.
Okay, but no other sports either? No?
Baseball. He did baseball and football, and then I don't know what happened. We moved, and then he played where we live now, baseball and football, and then we asked him later on, and he was like, I don't want to play anymore. But
yeah, well, there you go. You can't force him to play, but I would just tell him to just keep working hard, man, and whatever he wants to be, just outwork the other guy. You know what I mean? And moving to Texas, I got to tell you, people are so nice in Texas, bro. You're going to see Texas hospitality is real. Because I'm from there, and I never forget going there post Giant or player and just going down with the fans. And I tell you, I walked in that stadium, even though I had on all this Giant stuff, they knew I was originally from Texas. This family invited us up to their suite.
Oh, wow.
And I never forget, we beat them too and everything, and everybody was so nice and everything, because you wouldn't get that in Philly, I promise you.
Oh, I've heard stories. I mean, they threw snowballs at Santa Claus. Like, come on. I know.
Exactly. They used to throw batteries at us.
Oh,
yeah, 9-volt batteries, man.
Oh, man. I thought Buffalo was a rough town, but yeah, I guess not. It pales in comparison. But very good. One more time, Stephen, thank you so much. And
God bless you.
Good. Bless you. And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. And till next time, the 2 Point Conversation is good.